Hey, good morning, my fellow fitness brothers and sisters out there in YouTube. I wanted to show you a website that I use pretty frequently looking for fitness equipment, but it's not only fitness equipment. There's a GovDeals site. It's govdeals.com, and you can register. It's a sales site for state, city, government type surplus equipment. So if you look here, you can see the listings: vehicles, animal equipment, aviation, fueling equipment. I mean, just there's a ton of categories here, and there's all sorts of items ranging from scrap metal, precious goods, miscellaneous vehicles, motorhomes, motorcycles, musical equipment. But the one we're keying in on is, of course, exercise equipment. And today there's 103 items listed. So if I click on that, it takes me to this landing page with the individual items listed. So right here off the top, you can see there's one lot of exercise equipment in Parkinson, Mississippi. The photo isn't great, but you can see there's a couple of dumbbell benches right here. There's some bars in there. It's got a pretty good price on it right now. $21.25 for the high bid on it. Now these items, if you bid on these items, you have to physically go to that location and pick them up. So it's not an eBay situation where you can expect that the person posting that item is going to deliver it to you, because they simply do not do that. And in fact, they're rather strict on the fact that if you register and if you bid on an item and purchase it, and you do not show up to pick up that item, then they ban you. They ban you from the site. You won't be able to bid anymore. You won't be able to really access any of the items that sell here. Here's an interesting one. A lot of 45-pound plates is for sale in Haddonfield, New Jersey right now. Current bid on it is $1,035. And if you click on that link, it gives you a breakdown of the listing. You can scroll down, there's more information on the listing. It gives you a description of the plates, who's selling the plates, and then it gives you payment and removal instructions, special instructions. And it warns you again that if you bid on an item and win that item and you do not pick it up, your account will be locked and you won't be able to buy from GovDeals again. But this is a great site. I've used it a number of times. It's how far will you go for a great piece of fitness equipment. Here's a Life Fitness multi-hip machine. It's a new listing, selling for $800. There's a lot, 4 squat racks, 4 of these squat rack stations, selling again in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Current bid for 4 of these is only $725 right now. I mean, this is a fun site just to go in and look and see what kind of items are for sale. You see some really great deals on ellipticals, sometimes treadmills, and there's usually contact phone numbers where you can call and there's a contact person. You could ask if there's any additional information on the condition of the listing, if it's like a treadmill or an item like that where you'd want to know if it's in working condition or not. And usually the postings tell you that. Here's a lot for 35-pound or 35 10-pound plates, Precor treadmill, Cybex 750 commercial treadmill, Concept 2 rower, spinner bicycle, Precor commercial elliptical machine, barbells and weights in Brandenburg, Kentucky, $210. You can see these are rusted up. They may take some work and cleaning, but if you're close to that area and you can look, if there's areas close to your state or within your state, it's easy to bid on an item and go and pick it up at the location. So It was a Cybex seated row I just saw there. I once went and purchased from the University of Missouri and bought 60 35-pound Olympic plates. They were the VTX style. I gave $400 and some for them, so huge savings on it. I did drive there to pick them up, but I bought some other listings also. It was a university that was redoing their weight room, and they had a number of items for sale, so it made it worth my while. I picked up 5 or 6 items, plus I picked up all those weight plates, and I came home and I sold the weight plates and then paid for more than just the items that I kept for myself, paid for my gas. Good way to just barter, and good way to pick up inexpensive items that are really usually high-end commercial type items. So check out this website. Again, it's govdeals.com, and it may help you in your search for fitness equipment. I'll talk to you guys next time, and subscribe to my link. So here we go. I'm on the GovDeals page, and I happen to notice here's a Stair Climber machine by Nautilus selling in Hillsboro, Oregon. Auction closes on 5/21, and the current price is $10. So if we click on that, gives you a blow-up picture of the unit itself, some different angles on it. Usually pretty good about posting pictures of the equipment and showing the condition of it. If we go down here and check under the description, it's going to say used Stairmaster by Nautilus. Unit has had its transmission replaced twice, so was in working condition when pulled for scheduled replacement. If you have enough ceiling clearance for this unit, it's a great cardio workout, and there's no questions submitted on it right now. Asset locations in Hillsboro, Oregon, 953 Southeast Maple Street, and then it gives you a map location. So this is a commercial unit. You know, if it's been in a sometimes they're community colleges or rec centers, so if they've had commercial use for a number of years, they're going to have parts that have been replaced on them, and this particular one had the, what did it say? Transmission replaced twice. I'm not sure what the transmission is in a stepper, but I'm sure it was replaced with OEM parts, and it's still in working condition. And the minimum bid right now, or the current bid right now, is $10, and the next bid is $12. So just an example. And I'll just go in here on another one of these Hillsboro, Oregon items that are listed. There's a Precor elliptical cardio equipment. I don't know which model this is, but it is elliptical stepper. It's got 12 days on the auction. It does have a current bid of $460, but if you go down to condition, it just says Precor commercial elliptical in working condition, pulled for scheduled replacement. Is showing some surface rust on the lower arm joints. So typically on these ellipticals, you have people standing over them, and they are working out vigorously, so could be some sweat rust on the where the screws and the connections are made. So you might have to hit that with some rust removal spray and clean it up a little bit if that's a concern. But usually pretty cheap prices. This, I mean, currently we're in we're in the COVID days, so these prices are quite a bit higher than, say, a year ago they would have been. In fact, these units usually sell for about $100 or a little more in the past when I've seen them for sale. So they are up in price. But if you look through here, you still may find some deals. It's interesting to look through here anyway. Cybex seated row, $200. This is also one of the New Jersey ones. It's usually going to be commercial equipment, but I personally picked up some really great pieces. I've driven some distances, but I once drove to Arkansas from Colorado. But I picked up 5 Legend squat machines and 5 or 6 Legend commercial Olympic benches. My total expense buying them from Gov Deals was around, I think, $200 for, like 10 pieces of equipment. So I did rent a vehicle, and I drove the equipment all the way to Colorado. It took me a weekend, but it's an investment of your time and some fuel. But you have to weigh it all out, whether the expense is worth it. And sometimes there might be items, if you just pin this site, there might be items in your state that aren't that big of a journey for you to go pick them up. I just wanted to show you this one. It's in Kinston, North Carolina. It says gym exercise equipment, new listing. It's got a $5 minimum bid. This is my favorite type of listing. If you're a person that kind of knows generally how these machines assemble, this looks like it's probably a chest press or a row machine. Just looking at it from here, you've got your pull handles here, your weight stack over here. A lot of times what happens is a school's maintenance workers disassemble the machine. They put it on a pallet and they put it in storage, and it ends up like this. Generally they have all the parts for them, nuts and bolts and everything, but sometimes the disassembly is not neat and tidy, and then it gets posted on Gov Deals like this, and this type of item will usually bring a pretty reasonable price, and then you just have to figure out how all the pieces go back together. Of course, if you have a unit number and description, you can go online usually and get a PDF file showing the assembly instructions. You may have to replace some bolts here and there, but like I said, usually the pieces are all there unless they state that they don't have them. So just another example. Here I pulled up a Glute Ham machine. It's got 1 day left on this auction, and the current price is $10. So, inexpensive piece of equipment, particularly if you, this is Perryville High School in Arkansas. If you happen to be in that area, live in that area, or have someone in that area, you can pick up a piece of equipment fairly cheap. And here's a body solid. Now this piece is not a commercial piece, although I'm sure it's in a commercial facility. It's a knee raise, vertical knee raise dip pull-up machine. As you can see, it's sitting in a warehouse. The auction has 5 more days in it, and the current price is $54 on it, and that's in Columbus, Ohio. Here's another heavy-duty piece. It's a hack squat machine. This one again is in Perryville, Arkansas. It's probably at that same high school. Current bid on that is, it's had 6 bids. It's $52. So if I close that picture, and it has 1 day left on that. So chances are that's going to sell for, probably around $100 or something. If some of those 6 people are still interested, and then come back and bid tomorrow morning at the close on this auction. So, I mean, one thing to keep in mind when you look at fitness equipment to bid on, especially if it's in your area and it's not a lot of work for you to go load it up, is even if it's not a piece you immediately need, sometimes it's a good idea to pick it up if it works and functions well, and then you have some trading. Here's another one. This is a really great piece. This is a Cybex Lab machine. This Haddonfield, New Jersey must be upgrading a facility, because they have a lot of listings on here right now, and you'll see that a lot on this website, that a university or a school or recreation departments must have gotten a budget to redo their fitness facility, and they're posting all of their machines at once, and you'll have listing after listing from the same location. And sometimes You know, if it's slow, you'll have individual listings, but looks like Haddonfield has a Cybex shoulder raise, Cybex Lab pull down, seated chest press, a lot of 4 flat benches, Cybex seated fly. I mean, there's some really great equipment on here. Minimum bids obviously are $200 on each of these commercial items. And the close times are all 5 days from now, so it's just a matter of how many people either at home use that want a commercial piece of equipment or a commercial situation want that piece of equipment, how many more bidders come in between now and the auction close 5 days from now. And again, you have to go to these locations and pick up these items yourself unless you've made some kind of arrangement with the facility to have a secondary party come and pick it up and load it up, and there's some permission that has to be granted, and you have to follow protocol for that if that were to happen. Generally, you're going to pick up the item yourself, although I have, not myself personally, but I have been picking up in facilities where a secondary party was picking up an item for shipment. I think it varies location to location, vendor to vendor, so you need to be sure that you have that all worked out ahead of time, that you're following proper procedure so that you don't get yourself banned from the site. So some more of the listings from this Haddonfield location is Cybex shoulder press, Cybex seated abdominal, seated arm curl, seated tricep extension, seated leg curl, or Cybex leg press. So really some great equipment here, and they're all $200 minimum bids. And here's a used hoist fitness equipment posting from Independence, Missouri. So that looks like a multi-machine. A lot of times there's not a lot of interest in that type of machine, but this particular one's selling for $170 right now. Here's another 14 plates from Haddonfield again. Durrell, Florida has a free motion abdominal machine. It's also a commercial machine, and that's currently selling for $150. And if I click on that, there's only 2 days left on that sale, so it's a pretty good price for a commercial piece of equipment. At any rate, that's my little YouTube video on Gov Deals, where potentially you can buy some commercial fitness equipment deals for, probably pennies on the dollar. And just be careful, check your condition.